I've read over 100 books on marketing and I've spent over 100 million on ads. And I can trace every single dollar I've ever made back to an idea inside one of these 5 books. So I'm gonna give you one idea from each book that actually matters for stuff that took me 6 years to figure out, and we're starting right now. Breakthrough Advertising, Eugene Schwartz. If I could only recommend one marketing book for the rest of my life, if someone put a gun to my head and said, pick one, it's this one. And the irony is that almost nobody has actually read it. Been out of print for years, secondhand copies go for $200 or $300. It was written in 1996 by a guy called Eugene Schwartz, who was the highest paid copywriter in America at the time. But here's one idea from a book that rewired my brain. Your customer's level of awareness determines what your ad should say. That might sound obvious when I say it out loud, but it's not. Here's what I mean. Schwartz figured out that every single person in your market sits at one of 5 levels of awareness. At the very bottom, level 1. They don't even know they have a problem. They're completely unaware. At the top, level 5, they're most aware. They know your product, they've been to your website, and now they just need a reason to buy right now. A discount, free shipping, something to push them over the edge. And here's a mistake I see almost every single brand make. They write all of their ads for level 5. They open with a product name. They open with 20% off. They open with shop our new collection. And that works, but only for the tiny percentage of people who already know who you are and already want what you're selling. Everyone else, the 99.9% of your audience who's just scrolling, who's never heard of you, that ad means absolutely nothing to them. You've skipped 4 levels of awareness and you're basically talking to yourself. I'll give you a real example. I run an agency. We do meta ads for fashion and e-com brands. Over 150 brands in the last 6 years. I make over 1,000 ads a week and I see this constantly. So I had a client, a fashion brand doing about 30K a month. Great product, decent website, but their ads were all product shots with discount codes. Classic most aware advertising talking to their entire funnel. We changed nothing about the product, nothing about the website, nothing about the pricing. All we changed was the ads. We started leading with problems. We started leading with identity. We started showing the kind of person who wears this brand. We told founder stories. We created content that met people where they actually were instead of where we wished they were. The brand went from 30 grand a month to over 300 grand a month within about 5 months. The same product, the same price, just a different level of awareness. One idea, 5 levels, that alone is worth more than every marketing degree in the world combined. Now, Schwartz tells you how to talk to people based on where they are in the funnel, but there's a more fundamental question that comes before that. And that's what this next book answers. Quick thing before we move on. I'm trying to grow this channel, and the way YouTube works, if you subscribe, it tells me to keep making these videos. I spend millions a week on ads. I learn something new almost every day, and I want to give it all away for free on here. But I need to know people actually want it. So if you are getting value from this, hit subscribe. It takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps me justify and putting more time and more stuff of this out. Right, on to the next books. Gary Halbert's The Boron Letters. This book was literally written from a prison. Gary Halbert, one of the greatest direct response copywriters who ever lived, got done for tax issues. Whilst he was locked up, he wrote his letters to his son, Bond, teaching him how marketing actually works from a prison cell. There's one passage in this book that I think about every single week of my working life. He says to his son, imagine you and I both opened a burger stand, a hamburger restaurant, and I said, you can have one advantage over me, just one. You can have the best burgers in the world, the best location, the lowest prices, the best chef, whatever you want, what would you pick? And his son gave various answers. Best burgers, best location, whatever. But Halbert said he was wrong. I'd pick one thing and one thing only, a starving crowd. Give me a crowd of people who are desperate, genuinely desperate for a burger, and I will outsell you every single time. I don't care if your burgers are better. I don't care if your restaurant is nicer. I have demand. You can have everything else. I'm gonna win. That's it. That is the entire game of marketing in one sentence. And here's how this shows up in my world every single day. Brands come to me and they say, our ads aren't working. That's the #1 thing I hear. We've tried everything. The ads, they just don't convert. And my first question is never about their ads. It's never, show me your creative, or what's your cost per click. My first question is about their offer and their market, because I have learned painfully over hundreds of brands that the diagnostic hierarchy goes like this. First, is the offer right? Is there a starving crowd for what you're selling? And is the offer structured in a way that makes them want to buy? This is the easiest problem to identify and actually the easiest to fix. A little time on some spreadsheets, some margin figuring out, and then just make those edits to the website. Second, is the creative good enough? Are the ads actually doing their job? Now, this one actually takes judgment. This one takes experience. You need calibrated eyes to tell the difference between a bad ad and a bad offer. Third, and this is the hard one, but nobody wants to hear. Is there actually a market for this product? Is there a starving crowd? Because sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the product just isn't what people want, and no amount of advertising genius can fix that. Now, I've seen mediocre ads, genuinely average creative, print money, like literally print money, because the offer was irresistible and the market was starving. And I've seen gorgeous, really well produced, beautifully written scripts, which are absolutely crush direct response principles, completely flop because nobody actually wanted the product. See, most founders skip straight to blaming their ads. Halbert would tell you to look at their crowd first. Cool. Okay, so Schwartz tells you how to talk to your market. Halbert tells you how to make sure you've got the right market in the first place. But once you've got both of those, how do you actually figure out what works? That's book 3, Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins. This book is over 100 years old. Well, not that one. It's written in 1923 by Claude Hopkins. And I promise you, it is still more useful, more practical, more relevant than 90% of what gets posted on the internet. One idea from this book that shaped how I run my entire agency. Advertising is not a creative exercise. It's a scientific one. Hopkins was obsessed, genuinely obsessed, with testing and measurement. And this was before the internet, before computers, before Meta Ads Manager. He used coupon codes in newspaper ads. He ran what were essentially split tests by putting different ads in different regions and tracking which coupon got redeemed more. He measured absolutely everything. 100 years before we had the tools to do it properly, this man was running A/B tests with newspaper coupons. And here's why this matters now more than it's ever mattered. The fashion and e-commerce space is full of people who think advertising is about making something that looks cool. See, that's a trap. They'll spend 3 weeks on a brand film. They'll hire a production crew. They'll obsess over the color grading, the music, the aesthetic, and then they have absolutely no idea whether it actually worked, no idea whether it made them money. They just know it looked nice on their Instagram grid. Now that's not advertising, that's just art. And there's nothing wrong with art, but if you're trying to grow a business, you need science. Now here's how we operate at MHI. Here's how we operate. We produce over 800 ads a week, different angles, different hooks, different formats, different creators. And the reason we can do that, the reason volume is a core part of our strategy, not a compromise in quality, comes directly from this book. Because Hopkins understood something that most brands in 2026 still don't understand. You do not know what's going to work before you run it. You think you do, you don't. And I've been doing this for 7 years, and I still get surprised every week by which ads win and which ads lose. Every ad is a hypothesis. You make it good enough to work, that's the quality bar, and then you make enough of them that some will. That's the volume bar. Now there's a line I use with every client. Every ad has to be good enough to work, and then you make enough of them that one will. Quality times volume, that's the formula. Now most brands do one or the other. They either make 2 beautiful ads a month and pray, or they churn out 100 terrible ones and wonder why nothing sticks. Now the answer is both, and Hopkins figured this out before your great-grandparents were born. So now you know who to talk to, how to talk to them, how to test what works. And the next question is, why do people actually say yes? What's happening in their brain when they decide to buy? Now that's book number 4. It's influenced by Robert Cialdini. Now this is a book that brings the psychology behind why people buy things. Cialdini spent years studying compliance. What makes people say yes? And he identified 6 principles, later added it to 7, and here they are: reciprocity, commitment, social proof, authority, liking, scarcity, and unity. Now every marketer will tell you they know these. Most of them don't understand actually how to use them. But there's one principle that I think is the most underrated, the most powerful, and the most misunderstood by anyone selling online. It's social proof. Now, everyone thinks they understand social proof. Just put some reviews on the product page, get some UGC, 5 stars, sorted. That's not what I'm talking about. Let me tell you what real social proof looks like in 2026 and why it's the foundation of everything we do at MHI. Now, social proof is the reason why founders getting on camera outperform UGC 9 times out of 10. And most people don't understand why. They think it's about production quality or authenticity or whatever buzzword is trending this week. It's not. It's about something much deeper. See, when a founder gets on camera, their face, their name, their reputation, and they say, I made this product, here's why. Something happens psychologically that a hired UGC creator can never replicate. I call it a risk transfer. The founder is literally transferring risk from a customer to themselves. What they're saying is, my name is on this, my face is on this. If a product is rubbish, I'm the only one who looks stupid, not some anonymous brand. It's me, and the audience can feel that. Now, maybe not consciously, but at some subconscious level, they're registering that this person has skin in the game. There's a thing I call conviction detection. Humans are incredibly good at detecting whether someone genuinely believes what they're saying. You can see it in their eyes, you can hear it in their voice, you can feel it. Compare that to a UGC creator who's been paid 50 quid to read a script about a product they received in a post 3 days ago. There's simply no risk. There's no conviction, there's no skin in the game. And the audience, even if they can't articulate why, they can feel the difference. This is why I built my entire agency around founder-led creative. And it's not because it's trendy, it's not because it's cheaper, it's actually a lot harder to produce, but because Cialdini's principle of social proof, when applied correctly, is the single most underexploited advantage in e-commerce advertising. So do you actually want social proof that converts? Don't hire actors. You're playing on hard mode. Put the founder on camera, show the transformation, and never explain it. Right, so you got the awareness levels, the starving crowd, the testing framework, and the psychology. There's one thing left, the thing that ties all 4 of those together. And honestly, if you need results tomorrow, this is the one to start with. It's $100 million Offers by Alex Hormozi. Now, this is the most recent book on the list. Alex Hormozi might be the most practically useful book for anyone running a product-based business right now. The big idea, and he says it better than everyone, make your offer so good that people feel stupid saying no. That's it. It's literally the whole book distilled into one sentence. But the how is where it gets powerful. Hormozi breaks down exactly how to construct an offer. And when he says offer, he doesn't mean your discount. This is where most e-commerce founders get it completely wrong. They think their discount is their offer. It's not. Your discount is one component of your offer. Your offer is the discount, plus the story around it, plus the guarantee, plus a reason to buy now, plus the bonuses, plus the perceived value gap between what they're paying and what they feel like they're getting. I'll give you a real example. I work with brands selling premium basics, t-shirts, hoodies, joggers, good quality, but they were like 20 other brands, same price point, some of them literally using the same manufacturer. This brand was outselling all of them, and it wasn't the product, it was how the founder structured the offer around the product. Instead of selling a single hoodie for 60 quid, which is what every competitor did, he sold a starter. He sold a bundle, 3 pieces together at a price which made the cost per item feel like a steal without discounting. He stacked a style guide on top for free. He added a fit guarantee. It doesn't work for you, swap it for a different size, no questions asked. He put a deadline on it. No fake scarcity, a genuine limited drop, a genuine reason it won't come back. So now you're not comparing a 60 quid hoodie to another 60 quid hoodie. You're comparing a 130 quid bundle with 3 items, a guarantee, and a bonus against someone else's single product at 60 quid with none of that. The value gap is enormous. The customer would feel stupid saying no. That's what Hormozi means by an offer. Not the product, the architecture around the product. And this is where all 5 books come together. Watch this. You use Schwartz to understand which level of awareness your customer is at, so you know how to frame the offer. You use Halbert to make sure you're selling to a starving crowd in the first place, so the offer has demand behind it. You use Hopkins to test different versions of the offer scientifically, so you find a framing that actually converts. You use Cialdini to inject social proof and psychological triggers into the offer, so people trust it. And you use Hormozi to construct the offer itself, so it's so good people feel stupid saying no. 5 books, 1 system, and honestly, that system is responsible for more revenue than anything else I've learned in 6 years of running an agency. The best ad in the world cannot save a weak offer, but a strong offer can make an average ad wildly profitable. So those are the 5 books, and I want to be really clear about something, because I think this is where most people go wrong with content like this. Reading these books is not what made the difference. Reading is easy. Reading makes you feel productive. You finish a book, you feel smart, you put it on the shelf, and you move on. That's not education, that's entertainment. What actually made the difference to me was pulling one idea from each of these books and applying it repeatedly for years, across hundreds of brands and thousands of campaigns. Now, you don't need to read 100 books. You need to deeply understand 5 ideas and spend the next year applying them. So here's what I'd actually tell you to do. Pick up 1 book from this list. Just 1, read it. Pull the 1 idea I talked about and apply it this week to your next ad, to your next offer, to your next campaign. Don't wait. Don't read the next one first. Just apply it, see what happens, then come back for book 2. If you're running a fashion or ecom brand and you're spending money on ads that aren't converting, the answer is probably hiding in one of these 5 books. And if you want help actually applying these ideas to your brand, if you want someone who spent 6 years and hundreds of millions of dollars turning these principles into ads that actually sell, that's literally what my agency does. The link's in the description. Book a call and let's chat. Also, if you just want more information, more free information which is actually working in 6, 7, and 8-figure ad accounts right now, subscribe, and I'm going to see you in the next one.